of the Darkmoon Podcast. My name is Slothonaut, joined today by my fellow co-hosts Josephtho and Swam. We are joined by our guest today, stayplus. Stay, would you like to take a moment to introduce yourself for those viewers who may not be familiar with you?
Hi, everyone. I'm stayplus. I am a streamer on Twitch TV. I do Souls challenge runs, casual playthroughs. I speedrun Hollow Knight, and I do some variety gaming. I'm mostly streaming just to challenge myself, and I'm a huge lover of the whole Souls community, PvP, PvE wise, and I love all the communities we formed on Twitch, and I'm really excited to be a part of this podcast, considering the guests you guys have had previously have been significantly more prestigious than myself. So, quite an honor.
We're happy to have you.
Oh no, I'm pretty prestigious with my 100 subscribers on YouTube.
The numbers don't matter. Just do you.
All right.
But yeah,
well,
that's me.
I'll get into the questions. What are your best moments of your career as a content creator, and what are your worst moments?
Oh boy, this is a tough one. Because I've definitely had some worse moments, and quite recently actually I've had some pretty terrible experiences with Twitch. But I mean, there's lots of ups and downs as a Twitch streamer, as you guys already know. It's a very psychological and very draining experience that has so many good things can come out of it, but yet so many bad things as well. So probably my best moments, when you beat something challenging or do something really innovative, and people are there watching you and cheering you on, and just being a part of that, those are probably my best moments. So when I finished a really intense challenge run, for example, I was just doing Dark Souls 2 SO1 no roll, and I killed some bosses flawlessly, and it felt really good, and people saying GG in the chat and just showing support. It's probably one of the coolest things that could happen on Twitch, just people being there to witness stuff like that. It's fantastic. But I've also experienced downsides to it, when you have the trolls, and I feel like I handle trolls fairly well for the most part, but then occasionally people snap. And as much as I try to maintain my positivity, because my Twitch handle is stayplus, right? And it's I don't call myself that because I'm inherently a positive person, but I try to be, and I try to motivate myself and others to really focus on the positive aspects of everything, like patience and whatnot. So when people come in and they try to ruin that, for the most part I can handle it well, but sometimes I just snap. And recently that happened, and I wasn't super proud of it, and it was probably one of my lowest moments on Twitch. And yeah.
It's not funny enough, I think
Damn, you shamed.
One of the worst times when I've gotten really angry on stream, I got pissed. I went off for 2 minutes just yelling, and then I realized my mic was muted, and I'm like, I'm so glad no one heard that. And I didn't have a face cam on or anything, so I was good. Everyone just thought I was really quiet for a minute. I just needed to take some me time.
That has actually happened to me too before.
Yeah. I know, sometimes I just yeah, I don't know. I try to maintain an air of positivity, but sometimes I'm a human too. Streamers are humans. We break sometimes, you know.
I don't know about
always
you
do
guys,
spades and yell at your mom.
I'm definitely a robot.
Oh yeah, Joey's definitely a robot.
Don't tell anyone.
Can confirm.
Moving backwards quite a lot actually. Okay. What was your first introduction to Twitch and live streaming, and when did you first decide that you wanted to be more than just a viewer and actually wanted to produce content in general?
Okay, this is pretty interesting. So I found out about Twitch when I was actually I was living with my old roommates, and they used to watch a bunch of CS:GO tournaments and whatnot because they were really into CS:GO. And they were explaining Twitch to me. It's really funny. This is a long time ago. I think it might have been Justin TV era as well. And they showed me how they could interact, they could chat, and then the streamer will acknowledge them. I'm like, holy shit, this is such an interesting interactive form of media that I've never even experienced. And people donating money, and they're acknowledging them, and I'm like, oh, this is really cool. But I didn't start streaming until years after that. So funny way I started streaming. I didn't actually stream to stream. I was doing competitive World of Warcraft PvP. I know. At a pretty high level.
Every day.
Oh,
I got
no.
into World of Warcraft PvP recently.
Oh, recently. Okay, interesting.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I was only using Twitch as a way to store my VODs so I can watch them back later and try to get better. That's the only reason I had Twitch. That's the only reason I made an account. And then um I literally was just recording our games and that's it. Just streaming them to nobody. And then eventually one of my friends who was like, "Hey, you should stream Dark Souls." And I'm like, Dark Souls. Dark Souls. That game that everyone's playing, that like that rage game that like everyone is like, "Oh my god, it's so hard, so difficult." I'm like, "Fine, I'll stream it." And so yeah, that's how I got into streaming. Dark Souls.
Is
That
that how you
is-
got into Dark Souls as well?
Yeah, it is actually. So it's funny because the guy who got me into streaming, he's a very he's a very powerful voice, very storytelling voice, and he came up with the idea of like narrating my playthrough with his like storytelling voice. So that's how we started the Dark Souls stream. But eventually he had to like he moved and we couldn't like continue that. So I just ended up playing Dark Souls by myself. I streamed it and I liked it, and that's how I got into the series.
For a minute there,
pretty
I thought you were going to say that it was Squilla who was narrating it for you.
Oh, his voice is very similar to Squilla's, yeah. Yeah. very
So,
similar.
take a minute and do your plug for the anxiety pikes.
Okay,
What
so
are they and what do they do?
okay, this is really interesting. Okay, so anxiety pikes. The name sounds very very weird. I know. So initially when I first started going onto Twitch, after I discovered Dark Souls, I came across Squilla and Faraz. Actually, I came across Faraz before Squilla because I read about Faraz in like an article on like somewhere on the internet that he like beat the game without getting hit, and I was like, holy shit, I could barely beat Dark Souls 1. How did Faraz beat this game without getting hit? Um, so I discovered Squilla after because I realized he was also trying to do that run, and I would just lurk and listen to his voice, and I didn't even like to pay attention to his stream or anything. Just like I would just sit there, do work, and look to his voice. So anyway, after a while, I started to get involved in his community and met so many people via his chat, Faraz's chat, all the Souls communities, and basically we formed a little sub community of all the people that we like met on Twitch who are involved in these communities, under the meme title Anxiety Pikes because our good friend Neffy, um, one of the original Squilla like viewers and subs and just a big part of the community. Like we used to have this little tiny inside joke about pikes in his chat. And one day, Lauren, myself, Norman Knott, Seb, and a bunch of other people decided to just turn this meme into a community. Like we're just like, let's make a Discord. And one day we made it and it just flourished. That's it. Like we didn't think it would get anywhere. It just started from a tiny little meme, and today it's just a massive community. Like not massive, but like it's like a lot of people on Twitch gathered, and we have streamers and viewers, and we host events, and it's super fun. I'm very proud of it. Um, there has been drama as there always is in communities, but I feel like we've handled it fairly well, and I'm super proud of the community and where it's going.
How do you
Damn, let me join.
how do you think being part of the Anxiety Pikes has affected your career as a streamer and careers of other streamers who are part of the community?
Okay, so I say this all the time, but I wish I had a community like this when I started streaming, like the day I started streaming, even. Because you know, when I started streaming, I I didn't have very many viewers. Like I had like one viewer for like months at a time, um, and I had to basically build up my first 100 followers, my own community myself, and it was a lot of work and it was stressful. And as you guys know, like streaming is very difficult. Like if you're just talking to yourself, it can be very off-putting to say
It's
the least.
so awkward, but you gotta keep doing it.
Yeah,
You gotta keep talking for that one person who comes in.
exactly.
But the rest of the time when there's no one there, it's just the entire time in my head I was like, God, I sound like a dumbass.
Yeah, of course. But my point being, if I had a community like the Anxiety Pikes when I started streaming, I wouldn't have had to go through that. And to all the people who have just started streaming and have become a part of this community, like you guys are so lucky, and I'm so happy that you don't have to go through what I did. It means so much to just to like have a community of people that like will always be around no matter what stream we go to in the Pike streams. Like people are always supporting each other. They're always like in multiple streams. They're like hanging out. We're hosting. We're rating each other, and it's like we don't just host people in the Anxiety Pikes. Of course, it's like we go everywhere, and it's so nice to have that support there, and it's just like a blessing for all the new streamers as well too, I think.
Yeah, I definitely think it's an overwhelmingly positive part of everyone's Twitch experience who is either part of the Pikes, is a Pikeling, or has been affected by that community in one way or another. Anyone who comes into contact with them.
Thank you, Joseph.
Um, what
Hey,
what is
staples.
your favorite thing about being part of that community, or a favorite memory that you've had as a member of the Anxiety Pikes?
Swam, sorry, were you saying something there?
Yeah. Thank you for
Oh, sorry, I just say yeah.
uh,
I'll answer both of these questions.
um fucking Sloth can go, but I guess I'll follow up after him.
Okay, no worries. Sorry about that. One of
No,
my
you're
favorite
good.
moments, probably, okay, it was one night and I was just streaming, and we haven't followed up on this, but I think it's a really good idea that like we should be doing, in the community. They had it like a Discord pike raid, so like they weren't in any stream in particular, but people were just chatting on our Discord, and there's a lot of people, and so I think Lauren had this idea where they're like, oh, we should just take this chat to a Twitch stream because it would help them more than just just chatting here for no reason, right? So they actually hosted a pike raid, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I was streaming one day, and then all these people from Discord came flooding in. They're like, "Hey, like pike raid." And I'm like, "Damn, this is a really good idea." So, we never actually really like did this again, but it's something like I think that is really unique and a good way to funnel energy from like one source that isn't like particularly productive to something that can help people out.
They kind of do that a little bit in the other community I'm in that called Jeet Runs. They'll do that from
Oh
time to
yes,
time.
Twitch Kittens community, right?
Yeah.
Or okay, that's awesome.
No, it's definitely a good
So,
idea, especially like if you guys are just talking in Discord, you guys can be having the exact same conversation in someone's Twitch stream and be helping them immensely, adding
Mhm.
liveliness to their chat.
Absolutely, yeah.
so you've done Dark Souls 3 SL1 with NES and SNES controllers, you said?
I have
Or you
on New
have?
Game Plus and New Game Plus 2 respectively.
Okay. So that's nuts. Have you thought about doing like Guitar Hero controllers or um
I,
like shit like that, like racing wheels and like
uh,
Weaver mitts?
okay, so
Fight stick.
I've had quite a few ideas about this. Okay, so like right
Do
now,
it
one
with
of
a
my
fidget
goals,
spinner.
my one of my goals for Dark Souls 3 challenge running is to get from SL1 to NG, SL1 NG to NG plus 7, so max NG. But I don't want to just do that normally. Like I know a lot of people have already finished those runs, and I want to make it a little bit more interesting and challenge myself in weird ways that people don't normally challenge themselves in. So my idea right now is to do all the Nintendo controllers, so NES, SNES, N64, GameCube, Wiimote, and then for the last two, I'm probably gonna throw in Fight Stick and mouse and keyboard. Um,
Oh, well, there's also Wii U pad and there's
oh, that's true.
also
Yeah.
the Switch controllers.
Hmm.
So, I mean,
Yeah. So I was thinking about that.
there's that.
And in terms of you said Guitar Hero control, I was thinking of an even better idea than that. I was actually talking to school about this. Um, so I work in audio. That's what I do for my main profession. So I was thinking of doing an actual. I was thinking of doing an actual guitar run, not just Guitar
That'd be
Hero
fucking awesome.
controller. So the way you would do this. I'm gonna get a little technical here for like a few seconds. Bear with me. So it is possible. Um, there's a way to convert audio signals, which are just frequencies. So the way a guitar tuner works, like an electronic guitar tuner, is it picks up the waves at a certain frequency, and you get the pitch, right? You get the note that the guitar is playing, and you tune it to that note, right? Um, so you can do that digitally as well. So what you do is you take the signals and you convert them to MIDI, and with those MIDI inputs, you can use those as inputs into the game. It's very very doable, and I think it would be an interesting idea that I don't think anyone has done before. So this is the first time I'm talking about this. um,
Well, there there's been voice souls.
yeah, I've seen that. Yes.
Yeah, there's been voice souls.
Mhm.
And there's also been like the bongo souls. But
Yep.
yeah, no one's done exactly what you're talking about.
It's just a little bit complex to set up, but like once it's set up, I think it could work. And I think Squilla was actually interested when I told him of this idea.
I saw someone playing Guitar Hero 3 with a real guitar, and they had like hooked it up that way.
Yep,
And
it's the same concept, yeah.
yeah, so you would just like hook it up to different buttons, I guess, right?
Yep, pretty much.
Alright,
It
yeah.
like it takes a little bit of work to simplify it to just like 4 buttons, but it's very doable.
What would that run look like in practice with having to match notes to inputs basically? Because thinking about that in my head, I mean I feel like you would be basically playing speed metal on certain fights. I mean your hands would just get shredded, right?
Now, see, I didn't really think this far into it, but there's a number of ways you could probably go about doing this. You could actually like do it with the audio, like you actually have like playing a song to like like it would sound terrible, but if you had the audio, but it would be very interesting. Or you could just like map it to a scale, which might be a little better. But yeah, you probably be shredding quite a bit.
You could probably super roll. Like just oh my god. There's I'm thinking about the Mario Odyssey roll, what they do. Do you guys know what that is?
No, I know
Oh.
nothing about the game. It just came out recently, right? Like today?
Yeah, it just came out last night.
Oh wow, okay.
But basically, so in the game, Mario can roll infinitely. And I'm thinking that for Dark Souls, just like you just continuously press the roll string that you have
Okay, yeah.
continuously. Yeah.
And yeah, like with this idea, it doesn't have to be a guitar. I'm just using a guitar as an example. Like you can convert any kind of audio signal to MIDI, so you can do like singing souls or like drum souls or like bass soul, whatever can make sound with a pitch, like an actual note. You can convert it to MIDI and use it as a controller. Basically, that's my idea.
Drum Souls has been done.
I'd be interested into hearing the song that Guitar Souls would play.
You know what? What you could do with that is if someone was to do that run, you could do it without the audio, but record the audio separately, not for the stream, and then you could like make a weird video about it, like with the song. I don't know. Anyway, that's just my idea.
What is Hollow Knight? I haven't never played it.
Okay. All right. So Hollow Knight is very interesting. So I actually didn't hear about the game until it came out. The day it came out. So I was doing a test stream one day, and one of my viewers, Not Up, he's very cool. I'm sure you guys know him because he's in all your streams. It's really nice.
He's a robot.
Yes, he is. So Not Up actually gifted me this game, and I had no idea. It took me by surprise, and I had no idea about this game until he did that. So I decided to play it because it looked interesting, and I fell in love. It is easily one of the best games I've ever played. Probably one of my favorite games. It's like without question, 100%. No matter what game comes out, it probably won't change my mind. This is the game of the year for me, 2017, without question.
2017. Well, good shit on because Breath of the Wild.
No, I've never played it. I didn't play Breath of the Wild, but Hollow Knight is probably one of the greatest experiences I've had in gaming in a long time. And at first, I was kind of hesitant to play it because it's kind of like a 2D platforming hybrid of like Dark Souls. I hate making that comparison. I'm sure you guys are sick of it as well. But it's very difficult and punishing.
Can't get enough Souls like.
Why is Hollow Knight the Dark Souls of 2D platformers?
Good question. No, but it's such a powerful game that it's massive. It's a $20 game and it easily has over 30 hours of content. And I've currently already put in 200 hours of game time into it because I speedrun the game. But they just released a free DLC, a second free DLC, and it was phenomenal, absolutely glorious. The music, the art, just everything about the game is just amazing, and it's one of my favorite games ever. Yeah.
Speaking of speedrunning, I asked Sloth this, and he couldn't really answer because he's not a speedrunner. But I'm getting into speedrunning with Mario Odyssey. What advice would you give to someone getting into speedrunning besides go fast?
So this is interesting because I just learned speedrunning for the first time and I'm still learning. And Hollow Knight was the first game I ever tried to speedrun, and oh boy, it was quite the process. I still have way more to learn. So my advice to you would be to like reach out to the community and just like absorb as much information as you can. Just talk to everyone who speedrun this game. Join their Discords, join their like Twitters, follow them on everything. Just start talking to these people because the way I learned how to speedrun this game is I got involved in the community and I learned from people much better than myself who have already had the resources, the time invested, and they had guides, they had like saves, they had like debug tools, like ways to practice the game. They had like routes already planned out, so that all I had to do was like talk to these people and like put the time into it. Like if you want to go fast, if you want to save time, you have to waste time. Is what I will say about speedrunning.
Well, Dark Souls, I was able to speedrun pretty well. I never did it on stream, but I could
Okay.
like speedrun. I basically only sped run to Anne Orlando, and
Okay.
that's where I shut the game off because the rest of the game's trash. But
I could agree with that. Yeah, PS1. Oh boy.
like I'd get to Ornstein and Snow and up to the Lord Vessel, everything's peachy. But after that, it's like Lost Islith, fucking Killing of the First Flame,
Mm-hmm.
fucking Tomb of the Giants, Kill Me Now. Yeah, gross.
It's unfortunate that Dark Souls 1 really falls apart after Anne Orlando because the game was brilliant up until that point.
Now, Bloodborne. Oh man, Bloodborne is flawless, except for the PvP, which I actually really like.
But yeah,
I
but yeah,
really like PvP
in terms of
anyway.
speed running, I'm still learning. I have a lot to learn. I still have like I'm not anywhere close to being world record material. I have to get way better consistency. Like I'm currently running the any percent no major glitches category in Hollow Knight. I have a time of 47:30, which is 25th on the leaderboard out of like 80 people. And I am pushing to go further. I'm also going to learn some other categories, and I have a meme world record in my own category that I made, based on a mod because there are many mods for this game. Actually, there's a bonfire mod for Hollow Knight, which makes it more like Dark Souls than before.
Man,
And
I
I've been
love
speed.
me some Dark Souls.
I love comparing 2D platformers to Dark Souls. Dude, it gets me so.
I love comparing
Yeah.
anything to Dark Souls.
Anything that has
Dude, why-
difficulty, right?
It's the
Tell me this
first-person
once.
shooter of Dark Souls.
Why is Cuphead the Dark Souls of
Yeah.
fucking 2D platformers? Yeah.
Last thing I'm gonna say about speedrunning is I told myself I would never speedrun when I first started playing games because I didn't think it was cool or interesting or anything. But then I got into it and I love it. So if anyone is like even slightly considering speedrunning, I would consider trying it at least. Yeah.
What inspired you to start speedrunning in Hollow Knight? I mean, it's obvious you are very passionate about the game, but what did that process look like for you where you just played it casually and not in a derogatory sense, but like not doing a challenge run or a speed run or something like that, but just, being a casual player of the game? What made you really want to start speedrunning it? Was it just your enjoyment of the game and you're like, wow, I really want to try and push myself further with this? Or what did that process look like for you?
Okay, so actually I was thinking about speedrunning before I started playing Hollow Knight. I really wanted to pick a game that I didn't necessarily know very well, but I wanted to be new. I wanted to be fresh because as much as I love watching speedruns of like older games like Super Mario 64 or Ocarina of Time or whatever, those runs are like set in stone at this point. You know what I mean? Like the communities around them, like there are very few things left to find, to discover. So when I was looking for a game to like consider speedrunning, I wanted to find something fresh. And I wanted to be part of the community of that game and discover, like evolve with the speedruns. Like Hollow Knight is ever changing. Like there's constant DLCs coming out which change the routes and new skips are being discovered, new glitches, new everything to make the run faster. People are always discussing it. And that's the part I love about it. I want to be a part of that. And Hollow Knight was just so fresh, and I discovered the Discord and all the people talking about the game and how passionate they were about it, and that really really attracted me towards the game from a speedrun potential. And the fact that it's funny, like I didn't even see a single speedrun of the game before I decided I wanted to speedrun this. I just like thought it would be interesting. That's it. And yeah, one more thing on that topic. I didn't want to speedrun Souls. I really had, as much as I love Souls, I wanted to keep it strictly challenge runs for Souls. I wanted to just try something fresh. And yeah, that's
the only
that.
speedrun I could do of Souls would be Bloodborne.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
thought about
Bloodborne
it
seems like a fun one.
just because the PVE of that game is so good. Like
Mhm.
I would love to play it all the time. Although there are some parts of it that I would imagine are annoying, and I've witnessed be annoying for my friends.
Yeah, that's another thing. I noticed Souls has a lot of RNG in speedruns, which is kind of takes away from the skill aspect, in my opinion. As much as I respect
Yeah.
Souls speedruns quite a bit, and the people that grind them, like the RNG would probably throw me under the bus after a while. Like I would just be so sick of it. Fortunately, Hollow Knight has very minimal RNG for most things in all the speedrun categories. So it's like 99% skill based, which is really good, which is really, really cool.
You- Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think I'm done with that idea anyway.
Okay. You mentioned you have the world record in the Lightbringer mod category. Can you explain?
I would consider it a meme world record. It's if anyone attempted to beat this world record, they could. Like anyone better, like any of the other runners who hold higher spots on the leaderboard. But I'm the only one who runs it. Well, there's one other guy, and I beat his time, so I have the world record. But Lightbringer is essentially a mod for Hollow Knight. There's a huge modding community around the game. It's very easy to mod. It's on the Unity engine, and the developers are all for modding. So Lightbringer is basically a combat rework mod for the game, which focuses on ranged attacks and abilities designed around the ranged attacks. So just for fun, I was like, I want to take a break from normal speedruns and just speedrun this category because like one other person has done it, and I wanted to beat their time. So I did, and it was fun.
What are some games you would like to play but haven't gotten around to yet, or that haven't been released?
Oh, that haven't been released. Okay. Well, I have a huge backlog of games I want to play, like mostly like old school platformers, 3D platformers, but new games. Oh boy. Well, Super Mario Odyssey just came out, but I don't have a Switch, and I still would like to play that eventually. I think it'd be really cool. Um, what are some games that are coming out recently that I don't even know?
You haven't played Breath of the Wild?
I have not. No, I would love to.
Oh,
I'm a
yeah.
huge Zelda fan, but
You guys all need to get on that.
I do.
Dude,
yeah.
I've told you,
Then
mail me your Switch.
once
We can
once you
pass it
guys
around.
get Switches, I won't be the only one that's a fanboy for Nintendo because you guys.
No,
all
dude,
see
I
it
love
my way.
Nintendo. I just don't have a Switch, so I try not to get overly hyped on it because I can't play it anyways.
But yeah, if FromSoft ever gets around to making a new title, that's probably what I'm most hyped for. It needs to
I
happen.
thought you were about to
please.
say From Software making a 2D platformer.
See, it's funny. I actually don't like 2D platformers. Hollow Knight's the only one I really enjoy.
I like some of them, but
Do you like Metroid?
they've got to be real special.
See, like I've never played Metroid or Castlevania.
Oh my god. Are you
Yeah, I know.
shitting me?
I'm an embarrassment. I know.
You
Oh,
need
boy.
to play fucking Super Metroid.
I plan on it one day. We'll see.
Then that'll be the new game you speedrun.
Oh boy.
Except you can't put it on YouTube because
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo.
Oh yeah, I've heard very, very many things about Nintendo and their copyright stuff.
I'm a part of
pretty
their
insane.
program and they still copyright me.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Damn.
it's stupid. Let's see here. From Software's games have been a major influence for nearly a decade. Now that
Oh,
the
yeah.
Dark Souls universe is essentially over for the foreseeable future, how do you see your approach to gaming changing
Oh boy.
moving forward?
It's this is a very interesting topic because everyone is kind of just waiting for FromSoft to release something new, and unfortunately, like the whole Souls community is it's kind of going stagnant, which is super unfortunate. Like obviously, you guys are in the PvP community, and you guys have been hit harder by that than anyone else. So challenge running will probably last until people start getting really bored or have exerted every single possible challenge there is, which is it's honestly coming pretty close. Like people have done some pretty insane things, like SL1 and G+7, no rings, no rolling, no sprinting. People have done it all. It's like so like obviously right now with no new FromSoft games coming out, the community has kind of stagnated a little bit, and people have been sort of shifting towards other projects or other things while sort of kind of keeping back towards Souls, which is what I've been doing essentially. That's like part of the reason why I started Hollow Knight speedrunning is I wanted to try to find something that I can separate myself from Souls with while still kind of maintaining my identity as a Souls player. Until something happens where I find a game that is either Souls or Souls-like. I hate that word, but or something like that. Has that kind of vibe that I can also play. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it.
They just need a Zelda with PvP. That's all they need.
Like I know you guys have been struggling to find new PvP games to play, and I've seen it and I've felt it, and it's really shitty, and I really do feel bad for you guys.
Well, I haven't, but they have. Yeah.
Nah, dude. Absolver.
Absolver is dead.
That's really unfortunate.
That's a game that's even more dead than Dark Souls 3. Like
to be fair, to Absolver's credit, the devs actually did just release a new patch. It's
I saw that on Twitter,
yeah, it's 1.08. And the player base jumped 4 times. So they have 4 times the players that they did prior to that patch. So so
instead of having 1 viewer, you'll have 4. Great. Got it. Kidding, Sloth, I love you.
It's showing sense of life. And I think that's
like
good.
The game, they can make the game come back a little bit in the player base wise, but I think it's like past the point of any possible return as far as like Twitch community.
Yeah. That's
so unfortunate that
finicky
stuff
and
can happen.
Weird and twitchy like that.
Twitchy, ha ha ha. That's funny because like, no, like streaming and gaming and doing anything like this is super volatile, as you guys know. Like one day something could be super popular, the next day it's just gone, and you have to find something new. It's like this profession or hobby is one of the hardest things to maintain, consistently at least. Like the people who do something consistent, like are very lucky, or like it's so hard to like strike gold in this Twitch community. Yeah.
On the topic of challenge runs, we were talking about your NES and SNES controller runs a while ago. And I know that that's a really big part of your content. You've done a lot of different runs in a lot of different games. I know you've done Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne. I'm sure there are some that I'm forgetting. I think you've done Demon Souls SL1 as well.
I've completed all the base level runs in all the Souls games.
Okay, yeah. So, what inspired you to start doing challenge runs in Souls games or just in general?
You know, it's funny. I told myself I would never challenge run Souls when I started playing as well. Another thing that's like always cheating. So like, there's just a lesson to myself or everybody. It's like, even though you think you're not going to do something, you might try it, or things change. You know, your opinions change. You change as a person. So the reason why I started challenge running is it was my first challenge run ever was a soul level 24 fist. I say fist, but it was Kestis or Cestus only because I was still too much of a scrub to actually use my fist. But you know, it was my first run and it was my birthday because I turned 24 at the time. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do a soul level 24 naked fist only run, and we'll see how that goes. And then I finished that run in Dark Souls 3. And I had so much fun with it. I was like, I want to do more challenges. And it kind of turned into this weird addiction. And that's kind of how it happened.
I like it.
Yeah.
Do you think From Software will produce more Souls-like games?
They have to, man. They have to. There's so much demand for it. And whether it's like some kind of sci-fi Souls that is not the Surge, like I think there's just a huge audience that's just like being held in these like with having withdrawal symptoms of Souls, and like we need it. Whether it like they decide to finish with this like the Dark Souls series itself completely, or whether it's like something fresh or like a Demon Souls remaster, or like a Bloodborne 2, or like a whole different IP. I think they have to come up with something soon.
And I want everyone to answer this. What is your favorite Souls game and why?
Does Bloodborne count?
Yeah.
Okay.
From
I'd have to go with
I'm
Bloodborne.
asking PvP and PvE. Like,
Dark
what
Souls
would be
2.
your favorite? What would be your favorite PvE game, and then what would be your favorite PvP?
For me, it'd be PvE Dark or Bloodborne, PvP Dark Souls 2. Easy.
Same answer.
Okay, so mine, I'm just gonna list mine like going for best to worst, I guess. It's so hard, man. Bloodborne and DS3 are so close for me in terms of PvE. Because Dark Souls 3 added some interesting things mechanically that like I like for your challenge runs, like being able to sprint while being locked on, and there's a lot of like potential for like really fast paced boss fights, and some of the boss fights in DS3 are really good, for challenge runs specifically. And then Bloodborne, just like Blood Level 4 is really fun. And I did all bosses and the chalices and the DLC, and I had a lot of fun with that run. Those two are pretty much tied for me actually. I don't know, it's really hard to pick. So I'm gonna say Bloodborne and DS3 for PvE, and I never really PvP'd unfortunately because I came into Souls kind of late. By the time I got to Souls, most of the PvP stuff has died down, except for DS3. But at that point, I was just doing challenge runs. I didn't have time to do both. So I'm gonna say Bloodborne, DS3, and then it's gonna be DS2, Demon Souls, and DS1 is the last place for me. Yeah. Controversial, I know.
Mine would be Bloodborne for PvE, and then guess what? Dark Souls for PvP.
Oh snap! Like DS1?
Yeah, Dark Souls 1.
Actually, no, I did do a little bit of DS1 PvP. I did a Return to Lord run 2 years ago, I think, and it was a lot of fun.
I have your Bloodborne Deathless run playing on the stream right now. Can you
let me open this up?
can you talk a little bit about doing this run, the challenges that you faced, your most favorite and least favorite parts of it? Give us the scoop on what this was like for you.
Okay, so I decided to just like I said screw any percent. I want to do all the content all at once. Because like I just like, as much as I like doing it in sections, it'd probably be more intelligent to just like do any percent first and then build upon it. I just want to get the whole run over with because I like this run has been done before. People have done this. I know it's possible. So I just like, no, I'm just gonna do it. It was a lot harder than I thought it would be. It was a lot harder than I thought it would be. I just died to so many freaking stupid things, and it took me like a week of like straight attempts, like streaming every single day for hours to get this run. And I would just reset to Gascoigne more than anything, to be honest. And then for a while, I just couldn't even get past Shadows. And I'm not a terrible player by any means. Like I did level 4 before this. It's just like when you're trying to do like a 3 to 4 hour run, it like there's so much pressure, and like this is not a no hit run by any means, but it still has its difficulties. And eventually I did it. It took a long time. And in the run that I did, I actually fought I fought Gurman twice because I used the Hunter's Mark too early, right after killing him, because I wanted to get more vials before Moon Presence. So I came back into the boss fight and Gurman was alive again, so I fought him twice. And that's the actual run. Yeah. And I would highly recommend this run to people who are into challenging themselves.
And you mentioned you did Blood Level 4 as well.
Yeah, all the bosses, like all the content, every single boss you could find in that game, including all the Chalice Dungeon bosses, I've done. Which was no easy task. The Chalice Dungeons are like, there's a lot of people who refuse to do that. Actually, Squilla refuses to do Chalices. Faraz refuses to do Chalices. It's pretty like mostly the in between stuff is really annoying, and there's a few bosses in the Chalices that are just like I'm not one to rage about the game, but like fighting these guys for hours, like I burnt out hard. But yeah, would not recommend to most people.
Dark Souls and Tolo have done Blood Level 4 Chalice Dungeons.
Oh god, that character. They have, yeah. Tolo is actually one of my inspirations for doing some runs. I've done Blood Level 4, No Roll, Orphan of Kos, Amygdala, Watchdog, and Bloodstar Beast. Just like on the Blood Level 4 run. I just decided to no roll them and I did it.
Are there any other challenge runs that you have planned out coming up that you haven't gotten around to starting yet?
Well, I didn't finish the DS2 SL1 no roll yet, but that's like something I want to finish at some point. I just had a unfortunate experience in the community that kind of led me to stop doing that run for a while. Just some people came into my stream and kind of ruined my motivation to do it. But other than that, I just want to casually get to NG+7 all the games. I want to do base level NG+7 or max NG in all the games. Deathless, I want to do in Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls, and then after that, I honestly have no idea. We'll see what happens. Oh, and item randomizer in DS1. Use what you see.
Are there
Item randomizer is a pretty fun run whenever I've seen anyone do it.
Oh yeah, because it's a different experience every time, right? So. Yeah.
Are there any runs that you would like to do but can't for one reason or another?
You know, I'm as much as I would like to try doing a no-hit run, I don't want to. And I just like it's not my thing, but like part of me wants to do it, part of me doesn't, and I think it's a run that would require too much time and investment with all the things I have going on. It would just not be worth it for me personally. So I would not try no hit run because time investment basically. It's like having speed running and then that is just too much. But yeah.
Understandable. I'm just gonna drop a random question in here for you. What is your favorite food?
My favorite food? Oh boy. It would probably I want to say pizza, but no, I think my favorite food is probably ramen. Like really high quality ramen. Like good big ass bowl of authentic Japanese ramen.
I like it.
Pretty lit.
How about you guys? How about you? I'm curious.
Well, the food I eat the most is probably ramen.
Oh
besides ass.
I'm just a giant weeb and like Japanese food in general.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
No,
Sloth, I know you like leaves, but
other
than leaves.
Only leaves.
I like sushi and medium rare steak.
With a side of leaves.
Good choice.
Yeah, I have to have leaves with every meal.
Very good choice.
I know I'm a heathen, but I eat my steak well done.
That's pretty blasphemous.
I'm not even shitting you.
I don't know how to feel about my life anymore.
Yeah, I'm torn now. But yeah. Oh boy. I'm out of coffee now, officially.
On the topic,
I ran out of Rockstar a while ago.
Oh, feels bad, man. On the topic of favorite foods, Juicy One, what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Matcha, green tea ice cream.
It's very
Without
exotic.
question. It is. It's so good. It's so creamy. Yeah, if not that, probably vanilla. I'm pretty boring.
You can't go wrong with vanilla, bro.
Yeah. I'm sure there's eucalyptus ice cream actually. If Sloth wants to get in on that.
I'm sure there's not.
I think that's more of a koala thing.
Eucalyptus.
I'm I'm actually googling this right now. Oh my god, it
No,
exists.
it is a koala thing.
Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much that.
I'm definitely not playing Mario Odyssey right now.
See, I would play it, but I just like I'm waiting for the Switch to release like a hardware revision. I wasn't too happy with the way they presented their hardware. I know Nintendo's hardware is never like as good as the competition, aka Sony and Microsoft, but I wasn't impressed at all with the Switch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really either, but you can take it outside and play Mario Odyssey. So
Yeah, that's true. I'm waiting for more games. Like obviously Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild are two huge sellers, but I think I just need a little bit more to push me towards buying one.
Metroid Prime 4.
That's pretty exciting. But yeah.
I need to just work for Nintendo's marketing because I've told everyone like 9 million times about the Switch.
That's me and Hollow Knight. I've sold so many copies of that game. It's unbelievable. I like I could talk that game up all day.
That's what I want. That's what I want to hear. Tell me about
We should
Hollow
just-
Knight for 5 hours.
All right, I will serenade you to sleep with Hollow Knight lore and music and talk about how good the game is.
All right. I'm feeling good now.
Nice. But yeah.
And another random one for you. What position do you sleep in?
Oh, this is weird. I change my position depending on I don't know what, to be honest. I usually sleep on my left or my right side. I
I
usually
always
don't
sleep
fall
in like curled up in a ball.
just
Like
pure
a
fetal
scared little
position.
bitch.
Nah, I can't. I can't sleep on my back or my front. It's really weird. I know some people do that. I can't do it.
And I wanted to ask you too, because you do work in music. What is your favorite kind of music? And what's your like favorite kind of music to make?
Okay, so as I've gotten older, I've like learned to appreciate all music or most music, I would say. Like in high school and whatnot, I was more like a stuck-up asshole about the music I listened to. Pretty much, like I was listening to like really technical metal and like progressive rock and like being all nerdy about music and whatnot. But as I got older, I learned that like other music is good too. You know, like it doesn't have to be super technical or hard to play or like whatever to be good music. So like nowadays, I listen to literally everything from like classical, jazz, metal to hip hop to rap to electronic to like fucking opera to like everything. Just like I like it all. And in terms of making music, I like to make weird abstract electronic music or like hybrid music. But yeah, just playing on weird sounds.
Relatable.
Like my tastes lately have been like more, leaning towards like really chill music, kind of hip hop R&B style.
Yeah.
Things. Yeah, those are my music tastes. How about you guys?
I
I
listen
kind of listen to everything also.
I listen to punk. I'm a big punk fan.
Nice, punk is good. Good stuff.
Were there
I don't know
any
what other
topics
questions to
in
ask.
particular that you wanted to discuss with us tonight, Stay?
I was just curious about like what direction you guys are going to with your streams, and like I know your communities are evolving, and seeing as Dark Souls 3 is not as popular PvP wise anymore, I just want to see what ideas you guys have for your streams, because like I have a lot of respect for both of you, all Swam as well. I just met you, so I know Joseph and Slothonaut for quite a while now, and I just like I'm curious to see where you guys are trying to go with your communities.
Mario Odyssey.
I've still been playing a lot of Dark Souls personally.
Okay.
I haven't been able to stream as much due to work, but that should be changing soon here, thankfully.
Hey man,
I've
keeping busy
been,
with work is good.
yeah, I've just been kind of like playing Dark Souls with the side of whatever. Like the
Mhm.
last 2 times I streamed, I just started playing Mountain Blade Warband. It's like a
Oh, nice. Okay.
7-year-old game, but it's like one of my favorite titles ever. And like I just
Mhm.
picked it up the other day, and I hadn't played it in forever, and I was just like, oh, fuck, I love this game. And like I was like, why am I not streaming right now? I'm just sitting here playing this game. I was like, whatever, I guess I'll just stream it. And like a couple
Yeah.
of people came in, but like I didn't really care.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta like suck it up. Like whether it's you have a low viewer count or whatever, it's you just gotta do you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I was curious about because I know like I know some of the PvP guys have been struggling trying to find a new PvP game and trying to evolve and adapt because it's very difficult. Just curious to see
Yeah.
how you guys were handling that.
Yeah, for myself, I've pretty much just been like streaming variety without much in the way of success, and then just like hoping that a new game that I can sink a lot of time into comes out that I'll enjoy.
Mhm.
For a while, that was Absolver, but Absolver obviously died pretty fast.
Yeah,
There was
it's
a
unfortunate.
yeah, there was a lot of hype and interest in the game, but they had a terrible launch. A lot of people couldn't even play the game online for the first week.
Yeah, I remember following that.
Yeah, so they didn't do the best job. So it's unfortunate that that game died, but it was really fun to play while it lasted. And I ran a tournament that was pretty successful a few weeks ago. And
Yeah, that was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
thank you. It's kind of funny. We were talking about how like the PvPers are kind of struggling with their channels.
Mhm.
I don't know why, but I've had more people from the Absolver community watching my Destiny 2 streams, which is what I'm playing now, than people who used to watch me play Dark Souls PvP. So I don't know what
there you
that's.
go. That's really good.
Yeah, I don't know what that says about the Dark Souls community, but I thought it was a little bit funny.
Well, I found you can't blame people for wanting to watch what they like because in the end, Twitch is like an entertainment source. It's a media platform. People are primarily coming to Twitch to watch something they're interested in, right? Some people only watch speedruns of a very specific game, and if people aren't providing that entertainment for them, they're not going to watch. And you can't hate on someone for not like turning on the TV and like tuning into a specific channel and not seeing the content that they're paying for. Well, not necessarily not paying. That was really bad. I should have said that. That was like I'm kind of ruined my analogy. But if they turn on their TV and they're expecting to watch something and it's not there, why even bother turning on the TV, right? Like you can't blame people for not staying for what they want to see. But on the other hand, like since Twitch is such an interactive platform, like the streamer themselves is really important as well too, and a lot of people will stay for that. And no matter what they play, it's like their personality and their comedy and whatever they offer or their performance that they give. That's a whole other aspect. So there's like two huge different like audiences, and obviously you can break it down even further than that. But yeah, so I'm not gonna hate on someone who doesn't want to watch my stream because I'm playing a different game. There's no reason to like get caught up on that. Yeah, those are just my thoughts.
Yeah, it's definitely a fair point. It's unfortunate for people who build their channels around like one specific game or one specific type of content, and then they branch out either because they have to or by choice, and their community that they built around that doesn't follow them.
See, in my experience, I've been so like I'm pretty aware that like the Souls community is like can be pretty brutal like that. And obviously there's no new Souls games out right now, so the community is kind of like stagnated to an extent. So like I've like I've kind of like preemptively like started to branch out slowly into other things. So I'm still playing Souls, but I'm also trying to do a lot of other little things at once. Like for example, holiday speedrunning in between Souls runs and like a little bit of variety, just like test the waters, poke poke around, see what sticks, see what doesn't, see what people are interested in watching me play, watching me do. So I'm not doing like a total like 100% like I'm going straight from Souls to something else and then like the whole community dies. No, I'm like trying to dabble and see what happens. And it's been working for me fairly well. It obviously won't work for everybody, but this is my strategy of how to deal with the whole Souls stagnation. But yeah. Because like I've witnessed like channels that like strictly do one thing and one thing only, and then they have to switch. I've seen like I know a few people in the community. I know one streamer in particular who used to stream Super Smash Bros. He was very big in that community, and all of a sudden he just decided not to stream anymore. And he lost his whole community, the whole thing, just gone. And he started fresh with something else, and he's not super happy about it because he doesn't have the audience he used to have, and it's kind of hurtful coming from that when you have to start talking to yourself again, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the topic.
Really quick, can you give a brief summary of your experience with some of the variety games you played? So I'm just going to name a game and really quick,
Okay.
just tell me what your experience was like with it and what you thought of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. We will start with the Witcher series, which you were streaming earlier today.
Okay, so I'm a huge fan of the series. I finished the first 2 games off stream, and I finished part of The Witcher 3 off stream before I started streaming. They're kind of hard games to stream because they're very lengthy and filled with like a lot of content, and it's kind of hard to stream those games for me personally. I need something that ends for the most part. But I've been enjoying. I finished the playthrough of The Witcher 2 because it's not as long, and I've been enjoying streaming The Witcher 3 quite a bit recently. It's going to be a very long playthrough. I've been streaming it every once in a while, and it's a great game, in my opinion.
Okay. Observer.
Observer, I'm a huge fan of Layers of Fear, and it's made by the same developers. It's like a psychological horror game, mostly for atmosphere and like weird psychedelic like trip outs. In my opinion, it wasn't as great as Layers of Fear, but it was still a really, really good game for what it was. I didn't like the ending personally, but other than that, it was really good.
Cuphead.
So unfortunately, I was really sick when I decided to play Cuphead, so it made the game like that much more difficult for me, and I like actually streamed for really long those days as well. It kind of ruined the game for me a little bit. Seeing like other people like do it extremely quickly and like people doing like S rank, expert like perfecting, and then like people speedrunning it like day one and getting insane records, and I just like kind of lost my motivation to play. And then I believe it just got overhyped. So
That game definitely got overhyped.
as much as I
Good
think it's a
game.
great game, I
Yeah.
don't really have much interest in it anymore.
I still like it. I'll finish playing
I
it
do, yeah.
eventually, but you're definitely right about all that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I finished it, but I don't know if I'll play it again anytime soon.
what about A Hat in Time?
Absolutely loved it. I'm a huge fan of like I grew up on the N64, right? So I played a lot of 3D platformers like Banjo-Kazooie, Super Mario 64, DK64, and this was like a modern throwback to that, which had like some innovations like good controls and camera. It was a pretty short game. It was like 14-ish hours, but 100% worth it. Loved it. 100% the game. Such a cute atmosphere and jokes and just everything about it was amazing. Loved it.
I
You say
think
I had in time. That was it.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had in time.
Yeah. Did you ever play ukulele?
I haven't, but I plan on it. I heard. Okay, so the thing about ukulele is it has
I've
bad
really-
reviews,
Things, yeah.
but
I was so
from what
hyped
I-
for it, dude. But
so all the reviews
Better
I've been
than
seeing.
Banjo Nuts and Bolts.
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard that was bad. But all the reviews I've heard about ukulele is that it's like they didn't like innovate. It still has the same problems that Banjo-Kazooie had in its time, like control wise and like camera and stuff like that. So I still want to play it. I want to give it a chance because if it is anything like the old school Banjo-Kazooie, I still want to try it. I'm gonna give it a chance.
Yeah.
I think I might stream it at some point.
It's not as good as Banjo-Tooie or Banjo-Kazooie,
Mhm.
but it's I'd say it's pretty alright.
Okay. Well, I'm willing to give it a chance. So, same with Lords of the Fallen. I know that game gets a lot of hate, but I want to try it. So,
The game's trash.
I got it for free on
Exactly.
PlayStation Plus, and I played it for like 5 minutes. I was like, nah.
That
Yeah,
game's
okay.
objectively trash.
See, like I as much as I hear all the terrible things people say about it, I want to try to judge it for myself.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Just don't try Mighty Number 9.
But yeah,
Bowser just
Like,
fucking shredded me a new asshole.
so like Sloth, like you're listing all the games I play, and like you're gonna notice that like I don't really have any bad reviews on any of the games I play because I'm really, really picky about which games I play. And I only play things I think I will almost 100% be interested interested in. Sorry, and I almost never drop a game ever. The only game I have dropped, and this is like after I finished the game too, was Neo. Now I liked Neo. I really liked Neo, but the second DLC really broke the game for me. It like kind of just killed it because it seemed like the devs like kind of didn't know which direction they were going with it. Whether they wanted like a challenging Souls-like game or like a grindathon, and they chose grindathon with broken scaling. So, yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of Neo personally. I played it once and never came back to it.
I took a hard pass on that game.
I actually liked it for a long time. Oh well.
Well, like a lot of
really
people
liked
seem
it.
to like it when they played it, but it just didn't last at all.
Mm-hmm. I like the combat. I thought it was interesting, and obviously it didn't have PvP, so like until later, and then apparently the PvP was shit. So, oh well. And yeah, the story was really bad too.
That I've heard. And I definitely heard about PvP being bad. A lot of people were so excited for it. And then the day it came out, they're like, never mind.
Yeah. So yeah, that's like the one game I've dropped in my whole streaming. No, I've dropped another one, but it was like a mod for Half-Life 2, which wasn't very good. 2 games I've dropped out of my whole streaming career.
Bad taste in games.
Yes, sir. Awful. But yeah.
Well, we've pretty much ran through all of our questions that we had for you.
Okay.
So if there's anything else that you'd like to discuss, I guess now would be the time.
Okay. We can pretty much talk about whatever we want at this point. So like I kind of want to go over my like stream philosophy for like picking a variety game to stream because I know that's really difficult to do for a lot of people. So the reason why I love Souls so much is because it can end. Like as a streamer, I like I need to have like some kind of finality and be able to move on to something different. Like or it just doesn't appeal to me. Like so Souls is very interesting in the sense that you could do like I'm gonna say quote unquote runs and you could finish those runs, but you can do a lot of those runs, you know, and you could vary it. So that's why I love Souls so much because like you can just vary like do really interesting things with the set time frame and you could just keep streaming that. So that's really cool. I really like the idea behind Souls, and there need to be more games like that I can play like that because that would be very interesting to me. I'm usually very hesitant to play games like The Witcher 3, for example, on stream because they are open world games. They're like pretty well indefinite. You could like spend hundreds of hours exploring all the content, and it just takes forever. Like I don't want to stream that one game forever. You know what I mean? So I was like, that's why I'm hesitant to like stream Fallout or any game similar in context to that, like Skyrim. So those games really don't appeal to me, but I really do have a soft spot for The Witcher 3, and that's why I'm choosing to stream it. But when I pick a variety game to stream, I think length and replay value and finality are very important to me. So something linear, something that has like a strong narrative or challenge or some kind of interesting mechanic that isn't too long is really important to me. So like you notice like a lot of the variety games I play are indie games or Souls likes or something that like is super short and powerful within that short time frame. But yeah, that's how I kind of pick my games to stream. That's just my philosophy.
It makes sense though. especially with variety. You want to be able to play a variety of games, kind of beat it.
Now, I also respect the other end of it, which is like you guys do PvP streaming. So you're playing like one thing that doesn't really end, but you're kind of getting really, really good at that one thing that doesn't end, right? So that's like the whole other side of the spectrum. And that's not me personally, but I have utmost respect for what you guys do. And I love that.
Well, it's kind of like speedrunning, where they're like getting really, really good at a certain thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's a good comparison, actually. Savage.
For me personally, I've always just been an extremely competitive person ever since I was a little kid, like really young, like 6, 7 years old. I was really competitive. And I've been playing video games basically my entire life. And once I found, competitive multiplayer games, they just spoke to me in a way that almost no other genre can. So for me personally, like anytime I have a game where I can really sink a lot of time into it and the skill ceiling is really high, it is like the best experience in gaming for me because I'm always pushing myself to get better, but I'm also competing against other people at the same time. So it's like fulfilling that primal need that I have as a sloth to compete against others, but also compete against myself at the same time.
I absolutely agree with that. That's the reason why I got into World of Warcraft PvP at like a high level. I felt the exact same things.
That game's insane.
It used to be a lot better. Unfortunately, it kind of died off in terms of popularity and whatnot. But when I was playing it, I was like super into it.
Well, Legion kind of made the game a lot easier. And
so wait, Swam, you said you PvP. Like what rating are you playing at, or like
what?
Like what class spec? I'm just curious. I'm just kind of trying to relive my WoW PvP.
Oh,
like, are you?
I like just got into it. I'm a
okay.
I'm a dwarf hunter.
Nice. Okay.
And I think my spec is like marksman, I think.
Okay. Yeah. So I was playing Resto Shaman at like a really high level. I was playing with like the top tier players. I was like 2400 plus rating, which is like Gladiator and rank 1 onwards when I was playing at the time. But then I quit because I just got so burnt out of the game.
Don't you love how that happens?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You just kind of get jaded, you know what I mean? I'm sure you guys understand. You get so jaded with the game, and like I think everything sucks, and then you just take a step back and you're like, wow, I should really stop playing because I just hate the game now. That's what happened to me.
That's how I was with Dark Souls.
Same.
Oh yeah, that's part of my strategy. I don't ever get burnt out on Souls because I space out my runs in such a way that like every time I come back, it's like, oh, it's kind of fresh. You know what I mean? Like I always try to squeeze in variety or like something else in between my Souls runs.
I'm so burnt out on Souls, I can't even touch it.
The
only one I could even touch is Bloodborne, but I sold my PS4, so
that's unfortunate.
Rest in peace. Yeah, it will just be a memory, and then like 5 years later, I'll come back to Bloodborne and probably wonder why I played it.
Yeah.
That happened with me and Kingdom Hearts recently. I went back and played it.
I've never played.
And
I played so bad.
I don't like it as much now. Which is unfortunate.
You've never played Kingdom Hearts, Stay?
No. See, unfortunately I was like a Nintendo kid. I only played Nintendo games as a child. I missed all the good PlayStation exclusives growing up. So I need to go back and play like Final Fantasy VII and all those games.
That might be a game that you'd enjoy to play, honestly.
You will. Yeah, you will. I think I know you pretty well, and you will love Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, thanks guys. Yeah, I really want to play it. It's the HD like remix or like whatever the remasters came out recently.
Yeah. The whole series is on
which I know you have.
I do.
There's 2 discs that you have to have. You have to have the 1.5 plus 2.5 and then the 2.8, I think.
Okay.
It's really weird with the titles, but get the 1.5 and 2.5 first, and then 2.8 is like a it's like kind of a sequel in a way
Okay.
to Kingdom Hearts 2.
Mhm.
It's really weird. Like the
Yeah,
way
I
they
wanna like. I really want to play that. I have to pick that up soon. And same with Nier Automata. That's another game I have a list of things to do.
I loved that game.
I heard the music and I'm already in love. So
Oh, dude, that game was so good.
Stay. That's funny you say that though. I was a Sony Master Race kid, so I missed all the
Nintendo stuff. Okay.
Nintendo stuff
See,
and Xbox stuff as a kid.
I remember my cousin had a PlayStation 1 and he lent it to me for like a day because like my mom was considering it, like buying it because he wanted to sell it. He's a few years older than myself and he wanted to get like a PlayStation 2 or something. I think that was the time. And he had Final Fantasy 7 on it and my aunt let me borrow it for a day just to test it to see if I liked it, but my mom didn't end up buying it. But I played Final Fantasy 7 for like a few hours and I was like so hooked on it and I was like, holy shit, this is the coolest game ever. But then I never ended up finishing it because I didn't get that PlayStation 1. I was so sad. So sad.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 7's amazing. And actually the director for Final Fantasy 7 is the director for Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard very good things about those games. So I've actually seen a few people stream them too.
5 onwards. People say Kingdom Hearts is a mix of Final Fantasy and Disney, but it's really not. It's what that director has made for Final Fantasy and Disney.
Okay.
Because they don't do like anything prior to Final Fantasy 5 because the director wasn't on those games.
Okay. Interesting. Nice.
Not really, but I mean, not really interesting, like, but whatever.
Like I still want to like play both of them regardless. Doesn't matter.
Some of the Final Fantasy games are kind of trash, though, in my opinion. Like 13-2.
Okay. I was told. Okay, so this is the order I was told to play them in by one of my friends who's like a huge Final Fantasy nerd, and he's like, "You have to play in this order, or like you won't enjoy them as much." He said, "Play 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then 13, and then no 15. Just go to 15, I think he said, and then go back, play 3 and 5." That's what he told me to do. I think I got that
5
right.
Is really good. I would do 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, and then 15.
Okay.
That's
I like how you all skipped the best one.
Which
11,
one?
Shut up.
6, boy.
I was told not to play 6. I don't know why. No, wait, no, I was told to play 6. Never mind. It was 4, 6, 7.
The version of 6 is kind of bugged, but it's
so. Are we talking about Final Fantasy 3 or are we talking about Final Fantasy 6?
6
because they're the same.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's like weird because the Japanese the Japanese Final Fantasy 3 is our Final Fantasy 6.
Okay.
It's weird. It's kind of like how Kingsfield 2 is Kingsfield 1 in the States.
That's like I want to try. I want to try Kingsfield as like the spiritual
that would be
precursors to Souls.
Kingsfield actually came out before Ocarina of Time, so.
Oh yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, so it's like whenever people are saying that Dark Souls is heavily inspired by Ocarina of Time, maybe check your facts because Kingsfield came out before.
Yeah. They probably don't hold up very well, but it'd still be nice to actually just try them.
No, definitely. That's how I feel about it as well.
Kingsfield is probably a dated piece of shit.
That's like when I played Shadow of the Colossus for the first time and the controls were so.
I think I saw Lobos
so
playing Kingsfield one time.
I did too, actually.
Yeah. I did too.
But he really enjoyed that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Of course, everyone knows who Dumb J is, because Dumb J is in every chat ever. You go into Lobos' chat and you're like, "Hey, Dumb J," and it'll be like, "Hey," out of like 10,000 comments.
Yeah, Lobos seemed really excited about Kingsfield, like regardless of how badly it holds up mechanically. He just really seemed to like the game.
Well, if you're someone who can get really invested in like the lore and the story and look past how aged and buggy it is, like you would find a really incredible experience.
That's like, oh man, I hate when people play like Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne first and then go back and play DS1. Like, oh my god, this game's so terrible. Because it's like, it's really hard to go back from those games with like really fast combat and then play DS1 where it's like more clunky and slow and rough around the edges and not polished.
Well,
So I like,
Dark Souls
yeah.
1 is good for half of the game, and then I wouldn't recommend it after that. But
like I said,
the
I already
first
ranked
half-
DS1 as my least favorite, but that's my own personal preference.
What was that?
I played them in order, but
Dark Souls 1 was your least favorite?
yes, sir.
Hmm.
I don't.
In
I
terms
didn't.
of
Okay, so yeah,
PvP,
I
I
came into
think
Souls
it's
late, so I didn't have that nostalgia factor that people had when they're like, "Oh my god, DS1, I used to play that like so many years ago." Like I picked up the Souls series late. I'm still relatively new to it, so I played them in order. So DS1, well, except for Demon Souls, I played that one after. But I did DS1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, then Demon Souls. And like to me, like playing them in rapid fire succession like that, like I only noticed like the mechanical changes that like improve the games and like the visual differences. So like that's why I like DS3 a lot, I think, because it seemed like a huge improvement over the other games from like so many different ways. I don't know,
I
like
think
not counting in nostalgia.
Bloodborne in terms of like mechanics has the best PvE mechanics of all the games.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. Yeah. The boss AI is kind of weird though that they fixed some problems that the AI had in Bloodborne and DS3. Like there's some, I think almost every single enemy in Bloodborne you can throw into an AI loop.
Yeah.
And in DS3 I think they fixed that problem.
Well,
It's
Dark
the same
Souls
engine,
3,
but yeah.
Dark Souls 3 is kind of weird in my opinion because like the parries, the PvE parries are really, really weird to me. For whatever reason.
Like is it just like the frames or like
Yeah, it's like in Dark Souls 1, I just like parry by looking at the arm movements and stuff, and I'd be able to get it, and it was like, this is a parry. I should get the parry. I got the parry. But in Dark Souls 3, it's like you have to parry early or some shit.
I find DS3 parrying to be really easy compared to other games. But that's just me. I like for example Pontiff. I parry Pontiff. I parry his opening leap. That's how I fight him
Yeah, I
most
do too.
cases. So I actually do that parry with my eyes closed. I can because like the reason like the way I judge that parry is by audio cues. He takes 2 steps before he leaps at you, and I count that like rhythmically in my head, and then I just parry. I can do it with my eyes closed. It's like 1, 2, ding, boom, like parry. Right. That's
love,
my weird approach
Pontiff
to that.
SL1.
Oh, it's a great fight. It's one of my favorites.
What do you think is
Even,
the
like,
best SL1 boss of the whole series?
the whole series? Oh god.
Mhm.
This is tough. This is so tough. I'm so biased because like I really like Orphan. I think Orphan's one of my favorites. Orphan, Fume Knight, Nameless King second phase, Demon Princess, DS1. Let me think of DS1. Artorias. I'm just trying to think of like all the ones I can like. It's so hard for me to pick one. I'm gonna say Orphan most likely, but
I think Dancer and Dragon Slayer armor are my favorite ones.
DSA is really good too. Yeah, I agree with that.
Dragon Slayer armor, dude, that fucker took me so long to beat.
Mm-hmm. He's really cool. Like I've seen no roll of it, and it's like super interesting.
Aldrich is just a pain.
I don't like Aldrich. Not a huge fan of Aldrich.
No, I hate him.
How about you guys? Like, what Joey Sloth? Like, what are your favorite bosses? Or I know Sloth did an SL1. He really liked it. That's like that excited me.
Yep.
I fucking hated Soul Cinder more than anything. On my soul level 1.
That's fair. Everyone hates Soul Cinder.
My
Parallax,
favorite boss, Lady Maria, because she's a waifu.
I would say that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say I'm not a huge fan of Maria personally.
My favorite waifu is Champion Gundyr.
Nice. He's a really good boss. Yeah. So sorry, Sloth.
I really think that it has to be Gale for me personally.
Oh snap! That's
If-
I actually forgot about Gale. That's a
Yeah,
good
Gale's a great boss fight.
if we're talking about like Dark Souls 1 through 3, excluding Bloodborne, because personally I just put Bloodborne in like a completely different class from the other Souls games in terms of its PvE content. But for Souls,
it's quite different.
Souls, I would say Gale for sure. He just Gale to me is kind of like the epitome of a Dark Souls boss in a lot of ways. He's got some really punishing attacks. He's got double hitboxes in his second and third phases. He does like crazy jumping, spinning shit. And there are just a lot of references to other really iconic Souls bosses in that fight, like Artorias.
Orphan.
I don't know. Gale is like the perfect final boss for the Soul series.
How did I forget about Gale? I don't know why I forgot about Gale when I was going through my list, but you're right. You're absolutely right. He's one of my favorite bosses. He has everything. He's fast. He's aggressive. Like forces you to be on your toes. It's a long fight too. It's like it's stamina fight. It doesn't fuck around. Like it's just such a good fight. Agree.
Have you done mid-year on SL1?
I have, yeah. Actually, I did it. People are gonna laugh at me if they're gonna listen to this, but I did it before the head strats came out, so I was hitting his tail when I did it. People are they're gonna make fun of me for that, but
that seems way harder.
It took a lot longer, yeah. But like now, obviously, I would do standard head strats if I was to do it again. But like I did it like relatively early, and I don't know, I just got my first tail.
Yeah, Midir honestly is not that difficult of a fight, even on SL1. Once you figure him out, he has the same patterns, and you can do that fight without running or rolling as long as you
totally did it, no sprint.
Yeah, which is just
Crazy.
insane.
Absolutely insane.
But yeah, Midir isn't that bad. He's just really punishing if you don't understand how the fight works, which, I mean, obviously you're not going to when you first fight him. But yeah,
of course. So yeah, on the topic of bosses though, the Hollow Knight DLC that just came out has one of my bosses in the entire game, and probably one of my favorite bosses in gaming in general. I just finished it last night, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And I'm really happy about it.
Did you stream your playthrough of the DLC?
I did. Yeah, I did. I have the video of the boss fight on YouTube. It's like the coolest thing ever. It's really fast because it's a free DLC, so they didn't put that much content, but like the content that was there was like really high quality, so it was nice.
You know, what game had great bosses?
Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Wait, what?
Undertale.
Undertale was great. I love that game.
It was a good game.
Indeed, it was really fun to stream. Although that community gets a lot of hate. And I was kind of prepared for that when I streamed it. Like, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but I did get some
people make it out to be so bad. I had like one person come in and try and post spoilers, and my mod instantly like banned them, and it was fine. I didn't even see what they said. Most of the community was really helpful and supportive. They were like quoting everything as it was happening. It was cool.
For me, it was a little worse than that. I had quite a few people kind of try to ruin the game for me and whisper me and like fuck with my mods and stuff, but like it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but it was still bad. Like I had to turn the room into follower only within 1 hour, which I've never done in my stream ever. At the end of the game, I mean. And luckily my mods were fantastic and they did a great job. So kudos to you guys. But yeah. Like I heard when Tolo streamed it, he got like view botted and like because he was like hating on the game. Like he was like sarcastically just like making fun of it and whatnot, but people got really pissed.
Yeah, I likely never had that experience.
Yeah. But yeah, great game. You should play it, everyone who has not played this.
Good boss.
We are coming up on the 90-minute mark.
Oh no.
Are there any closing remarks you would like to make, Stay?
Other than like anyone listening in, you guys should go follow Joseph and Swam and Slothonaut on Twitch because they're really cool and they are awesome for letting me be on this podcast, considering the previous guests have been way more prestigious, like I said earlier, like Ostarva, Squilla, and Frosted Caribou. So I'm really honored to be here and I could take part in this because that's really, really, really cool. And yeah, that's really all I have to say.
It was a pleasure to have you.
I appreciate your hard work and dedication.
I appreciate your hard work and dedication. Okay.
Oh, well, someone's ass is about to get eaten, I guess. So.
But yeah, you guys are great. Honestly, I think what you guys are doing with this podcast is really cool, and I'm glad you guys are doing it because like it's one thing to say something and like not follow up on it, and then there's one thing to just like do it. You guys came up with this idea and you just did it, and I think it's so cool. You guys got the guests and you organized it well, and I'm very proud. Very proud.
Have you seen the predecessor podcast, the Base Cannon podcast? That's the one that I did with Skidonic and Lost and Adam Barker. 89.
You know what? I think Joey. Fuck. I think I've seen 2 or 3 of those actually because I think Joseph was promoting.
Yeah,
that
Joey.
quite a bit.
Joey was on that. And we had Starva. We had. Fuck, who else do we have? We had Takuchi.
Oh snap! Okay.
Oh wait, no, we didn't have Takuchi. I just talked to Takuchi. We had Platinum 7. That's who we had. And yeah, we were about to have
That's
Fighter, but the podcast ended, and then we started doing this.
That's awesome. I'm very happy.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for being on.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime, guys. And if you ever like need help or anything, or yeah, just let me know.
Oh, for sure.
I was planning on rating Faraz Khan because he's going to be our guest next Friday.
Oh snap! Next, nice.
Yeah, but he is offline, so
okay.
Unless
Just
there is,
just send them all to Squilla.
I'm gonna stream after this. So
all right on.
Yeah.
If you want to rate yourself, you can.
All right, I will do that. If any of you guys are interested in Destiny 2, I will be streaming that immediately following
Hell yeah.
this.
Like I said, I'm not super interested in playing it, but I don't mind watching it, so I will be there.
Feels amazing, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there as well.
But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. stayplus, it was a pleasure having you on. We will be live next Friday with Faraz Khan, talking to him. And I'm going to be streaming some Destiny 2 on PC. We've been doing fire teams with a clan that I'm putting together. So if anyone on PC doesn't have a group of people to play with, you are more than welcome to join. But yeah, we are going to end it here, and I will host myself and wish you all a great rest of your evening and a great weekend if you aren't sticking around for the stream. But otherwise, we'll see you next Friday. Take care, everyone. Thank you for watching.
All right. Thank you. Have a great night.